shout out to Kanye, but what we not gonna do is we not gonna have niggas saying, oh, it's pyramids here because Kanye said it. Fuck Kanye. It's people like me who say
of what is known as Egyptian knowledge is actually Egyptian knowledge, not a corruption of Greek, Persian, and Roman.
Well, you see, Egyptian society was first infiltrated around 1675 BC.
Wow.
When a group of shepherd priests known as the Hyksos or the Habiru.
And they were the Habiru or the Hebrew, right? And this was Jacob and his 12 sons who moved into Egypt.
Money grows, peace can grow, money stack can grow, only money grows.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your man King Marcel, and we are back with another video. So today we're about to start off a new series. I put together a compilation of videos that I really feel like you all need to know. I feel like I really, you know what I'm saying? I just really wanted to get into making content that's going to really help people understand what's really going on in the world, and not just from like a news channel or anything like that, but from all of the occult meanings, from the things that's going on to the science behind things, and to who my people really are. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of misinformation that we have been being taught in the schools for the past 100 years. And a lot of strongholds got to be brought down. So again, these are a bunch of videos that I put together myself that I feel like is going to aid in a lot of people's understanding. If you guys are new here, if you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are joining the kingdom, man. Let's get a conversation started in the comment section based off these videos that you guys watch. It's a lot of information, so I really hope you guys pay attention and that it's not too much for you all. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of deep stuff in here, so you know what I'm saying, be prepared. You have been warned. But that being said, let's get right into it.
Please.
The history of your country seems to consist of nothing more than a squalid string of conspiracies, rebellions, revolutions, murders, and massacres. Every judgment seems to be motivated by greed, by malice, hypocrisy, hatred, envy, lust, and madness. You have proved that ignorance, idleness, and vice are the only qualifications for public office, and that your laws are made by those whose only interest is in perverting them. I can only conclude that your people are the most pernicious race of odious little vermin that ever nature suffered to crawl upon the face of the earth. I can only conclude that your people are the most pernicious race of odious little vermin that ever nature suffered to crawl upon the face of the earth.
Your Majesty.
He still bowed to her. Peep that.
hey man, shout out to Kanye, but bro, we not doing this. It's people like myself who's been showing and proving this over years. Nobody wants to believe it till a celebrity said it. So here we go. So the mound that he's speaking of, the pyramid that he's speaking of, is Cahokia. Exhibit A. Cahokia is located in Illinois, but it's right at the border of Missouri, which is why that post say St. Louis, right? But these mounds, they're mounds, which they call pyramids because of the way they're built, were built by the ancient people here, people that we would call the American Indians. And when I say American Indians, I'm not talking Native Americans, I'm talking American niggas. Facts. Now, these mounds and pyramids were created for various things. Burials, ceremonies, and even sometimes lived in them. So the narrative of
Sometimes
American
energy
Indians running around
sources.
butt naked in teepees is cap. This is the Etowah Mound in Cartersville, Georgia, right? Built by the same people of the Mississippian culture, which would be American Indian or American niggas. This is the Okmulgee Mound, found in Macon, Georgia, guys. And here's another view of it. Now, mind you, all these mounds predate every pyramid in Africa, right?
Yeah.
Right. Here's South Carolina, right? This is at the back of the Tugaloo River, and this is now covered by a lake, a man-made lake named Lake Hartwell.
And it's just crazy how they try to say that, you know what I'm saying, Africa is the, and Egypt was the place where all of this knowledge came from, and that, you know what I'm saying, that was the beginning of life and everything. But then when it just comes down to the pyramid game, I believe Israel. I mean, I say Israel. I believe Egypt only has around, correct me if I'm wrong, like 2,000 pyramids throughout all of Africa. The United States has millions. We have millions of earth mounds and pyramids here. So then it begs the question of who's imitating who and where it really is the, you know what I'm saying, foundation of life from. Because if it's millions here, you would think that, you know what I'm saying, if it's going to be pyramids anywhere else, that's the place that will be being copied, right? Just a thought.
Which I got a video dropping about the man-made lakes in South Carolina as well. But let's get back on topic. This here is the Santee Mound in South Carolina, in North Santee, South Carolina, which is also by a man-made lake. Now this mound here is a mound in Georgia, right? But I'm showing this because those other 3 mounds that I said is underwater in South Carolina, there's a mound underwater, Lake Hartwell, that looks just like this. Now, this is in Texas. I've driven by this plenty of times coming out of El Paso. Another mound, pyramid, right? This here is in West Virginia. And mind you, these mounds were used for burial ceremonies, all type of shit by these so-called Indians.
Yeah.
Now, this right here, right? This is in Kentucky, guys. Pike County. This is an aerial view of what you would call mountains. Now,
like, does that
I'm gonna
look
do
like
a
a
part 2 to this
mountain?
because I got a bunch of videos and pictures.
Nothing about that looks natural. You know what I'm saying? I would never believe that a brain carved these steps. These like steps. And it's like, come on.
Since I've been on the
The
road,
land
these
speaks
past
for
2
itself.
years, and what you seeing right now, I see every single day. Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, Mississippi, Bama, everywhere. So, like I said, shout out to Kanye, but what we not gonna do is we not gonna have niggas saying, oh, it's pyramids here because Kanye said it. Fuck Kanye. It's people like me who's been saying this for years, getting ridiculed, called crazy and all this shit. We not about to let Kanye take this credit. For
He
the
said,
research that
fuck
we've been doing.
Kanye.
But we put a lot of time, energy, and money into this research to show and prove. Now, what you see as a mountain is not a mountain. Mountains are mounds. Mounds are pyramids.
Yeah.
Mounds predate pyramids.
And it's as simple as that.
Muni bonds and the HMRC pay the King's Trust.
Y'all can Google this right now. Look up what a muni is. M-U-N-I. A muni bond, a municipal bond. That's what pays for your city. It's your Social Security credit that's paying for every city.
Not your tax.
They're taking loans against your Social Security number to create a city.
And who here files the 1040 tax form? Right?
It's okay. You can raise your hand.
You can raise your hand. You can raise
We ain't
your
gonna put no
hand.
cameras on you.
Right?
Yeah,
Now-
stay low, stay low. You stay low, boy.
So the 1040, according to the
Project a little bit, bro.
okay, according to the IRS codes, right? That form is a tribute to Great Britain.
That's it.
Now that form. Now I'm not talking about the other forms. So when you file your 1040, you're giving that away to Great Britain as a tribute. And what is a tribute? It's a gift, right? It's a tax. What is a tax? If you want to Google tax, it is a contribution imposed.
Black Law's Dictionary.
Black's Law Dictionary.
Imposed.
Contribution is a gift. Imposed means it's forced.
Forced, right?
So now a tax means that you're forced to give a gift. That's kind of an oxymoron. If you
Making
ask me.
sense?
Exactly.
Making sense?
Okay. Now,
Exactly. It gets deeper.
Now, this is something I want you to understand, and you need to listen carefully because this is profoundly important. Most people have never heard this, and don't even understand what I'm trying to say. So try and follow what I'm going to tell you. Now, on the back of the Social Security card will be numbers in red. On the front will be in blue or black, but on the back will be in red. The numbers on the back of a Social Security card in red designate your body. It is the serial number of your stock. And this is why if you're wealthy, you are preferred stock. If you're poor, you are common stock. But you are a stock on the stock market. Your body is bought and sold through the use of your birth certificate. This is why when you were born, you have to have a birth certificate. Therefore, your birth certificate is signed by your mother, and where your mother signed on the birth certificate, get it, you will see it does not say parent or mother, it says informant. You need to wake up and find out how this stuff really works. After the change of the century, coming into 1900s, decided they wanted to expand. They got so much money and they're doing so well. They thought maybe we could expand the business, move the corporation out a little bit. Let's expand business. Let's go to Germany or Europe and open up a big corporation there and take in their corporation, their government. We'll take them over. And the Germans said, "Hey, Jack, it's like a mafia. What are you coming over here? You're gonna buy me? I'll buy you. You don't buy me." Like the Godfather movie. And the American corporation, British American corporation, said, "Unfortunately, maybe you didn't understand. Let me restate it so you understand. I didn't ask you. I'm telling you. We're moving in here. It's called a corporate takeover." And so there was a hostile corporate takeover where the American corporation decided they wanted to take over in Europe, and they didn't want to be taken over. Well, it's too bad. They take over anyway. So they called it a hostile corporate takeover. We call it World War I. So the corporation called United States was able to overthrow the existing corporate order in Europe, but it cost a lot of money. They had to build a lot of tanks and jeeps and pay a lot of people. And the corporation, well, they were successful. They did what they wanted to do. But they went broke doing it. And so when they went broke doing it, and then the bankers pulled their money out in 29, we had something called a stock market crash.
Suddenly, we know that the Greeks occupied Egypt for some time. And, well, before them it was the Persians. And after that, the Greeks. And then the Romans. And we know the stories of Mark Antony, Cleopatra, Octavian, and all of that. But now, from that period coming forward, how much of what is known as Egyptian knowledge is actually Egyptian knowledge, not a corruption of Greek, Persian, and Roman?
Well, you see, Egyptian society was first infiltrated around 1675 BC, when a group of shepherd priests, known as the Hyksos or the Habiru,
and they were the Habiru or the Hebrew, right? And this was Jacob and his 12 sons who moved into Egypt. They try to ignore this history, or they try to make it seem like it's just a fairy tale, because they want everybody to believe that the Bible is a fairy tale. But these events actually happened. These shepherd priests moved in, but they had who they are. They know that they were the Hyksos. And when you study the Hyksos, you start to understand who Moses is, what really went on in the land, that it's not just a fairy tale. But they play semantics on us. They play this terminology game because they made us go so long without reading or writing. But we the ones who developed these languages. Let's continue.
Who will later be known as the Hebrews.
The Hebrews.
They invaded Egypt for 108 years. So in that process, they introduced a whole lot of their ideas, their brand of monotheism, and into the Egyptian society. So until they were kicked out. But when they were kicked out, not everything that they came up with was kicked out. So some of their ideas, principles, and concepts, ideas of culture, religion, were left behind. And then 525 BC, Cambyses of Persia went into Egypt again, invaded Egypt. So effectively, the last 5 dynasties of the 32 dynasties of Egypt are not indigenous.
Yeah.
But this vulgarization began way before even those last 5 dynasties. And then you had some Greek high priest of Egypt, Manetho, as one of the people who recorded some of the works of ancient Kemet in their own language, using their own ideas and concepts. Again, language is a carrier of ideas, principles, and concepts. So when you use Greek language, you also, it comes along with its concepts, its ideas, in principles, that it then influence the narrative. We have a saying that Sesotho asitolog or Sotho asitolog. There is no direct translation from African languages to European languages. You understand? So therefore, clearly, a lot got lost in the translations. So what you get then, it is their own understanding, and then they're using comparative linguistic dynamics, comparing what they have in their culture with what they find in here and what they're trying to narrate. So as a result, we are then stuck up with this bastardized form of Kemet.
I like that. We are stuck with this form of bastardized Kemet. It's a bastard child.
And this bastardized Kemet, it's not about, because again, what's being mistranslated is not about Kemet itself. It's about where the knowledge came from. It's about who the Israelites are. It's a bastardized understanding on who the true children of Israel are. And it's the fact that a lot of people know who we are. A lot of people know that the curses point out who we are as clear as day. But then it's to deal with a hard pill about how my people have been treated over millennia. You know what I'm saying? People don't want to have to deal with that. But my thing is that that's why a lot of this mess is going on in the world today, is because people want to dodge that issue. But that issue can't be dodged for too much longer, because we see what's happening over there in the Middle East. This corruption is the start of the Bible verse that get used out of context, neither Jew nor Greek. It's not talking about the Greeks were Israelites because the Israelites are the people of the promise. It wasn't the whole world. It's talking about the Israelites who were brought into slavery in Greece. Christ went to those people because those people were Israelites. They was just enslaved. Just like if Christ was to come back today, he would come back to my people because they calling themselves Americans. They're calling themselves black. They're calling themselves Negroes instead of calling themselves the children of Israel. It's all happening again. But we are about to keep going on to it. I would love to have a discussion about this down in the comment section. You guys let me know what you think.
Doing it. And so when they went broke doing it, and then the bankers pulled their money out in 29.
This part 2 of the other one.
We had something called a stock market crash. Because the corporation spent so much money, they went broke. So the international banker says, well, if you're broke, what are you coming to me for? I'm not going to loan you money if you're broke. And so what do you have as collateral? You got any collateral that you could put up for me to loan you the money? And the corporation called United States, the British corporation called United States, said, yes, we have the stock. We'll give you stock in the company. You are the stock in the corporation. So they give your body to the banks in Switzerland. So your body now becomes stock for the corporation called United States because you are a money maker. Bankers came in and said, if we're going to loan you money, you guys have lost money, you guys have gone bankrupt, we're going to take care of the accounting. We're going to see where the money goes. We'll give you the money, but we're going to make it sure it goes where we want it to go. So they set up the Federal Reserve System and then the collection agency to make damn sure that you people pay us. We're going to set up to keep a record of how much you owe us in business each week. We're going to call that the Federal Reserve. And to make sure that your stock, all the chumps out there in America working, make sure the stock pays us. We're going to make sure they pay us. You don't just tell me you're going to pay. I'm going to make sure they're going to pay. So we will set up a collection agency. our own personal collection agency is called the Internal Revenue. So the banks, the corporation called United States, loan money to the privately owned corporation called United States, and the United States corporation gave your body, your birth certificate, to the banks as collateral for the loan. And that's why today Americans are nothing but slaves. Now this is something I want.
And people, I know that was just a lot right there. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And I know a lot of people are way that off and probably turn this video off here and there. Like, come on, really? But unfortunately, everything he just said is 1000% true. And the manipulation, the lies. The Federal Reserve is not America's financial institution. It's a privately owned bank that isn't even on this land. People got to understand that. I believe the Federal Reserve is on an island somewhere because it's not a part of the United States. And it's not only lending money to the United States, it's lending money to a bunch of different nations. They stole our gold years ago, decades ago. And now we are the ones who are collateral through our birth certificates. And that's why I stress on this channel. Authentication of your birth certificates is literally one of the, if not the most important thing you can do in your lifetime. Because it separates you from your straw man. It shows them that, come on, you're not this piece of paper. You're not your birth certificate, because that's what gives them the right to tax you, to give you a speeding ticket, the reason why you need a license, all of these things are not lawful. Under the United States, the actual government, they created this fairy tale land called the United States Corporation, literally. And they trade our birth certificates on the stock exchange. And if you guys want to learn how to authenticate your birth certificates, let me know down in the comment section. I would do it for the free. I'm not one of these guys who's going to charge you thousands of dollars for this information. If you guys want me to do a video on it, let me know down in the comment section. I will go step by step and show you all how to do it, because I've done my own. This stuff is real. And we really have to come to this understanding if we're going to begin to, you know what I'm saying, create a dent in our lifetime on making a change and it not being on our children.
You to understand. And you need to listen carefully, because this is profoundly important. Most people have never heard this and don't even understand what I'm trying to say. So try and follow what I'm going to tell you. There are two kinds of law on the earth, as I've said. One is called civil law, which is the law of the land, and one is called maritime admiralty, which is called the law of water. Maritime admiralty is banking law. And the law on the maritime admiralty says that you, because you came out of your mother's water, are a maritime admiralty product. This is why the ship is sitting in its berth and is tied to the dock, and the captain has to give a certificate of manifest to the port authorities, because money is changing hands.
Be watching this. This is
called
really
Ashtoreth. She in Mesopotamia, she's called Ishtar. When she went into the Greek land, she was called Aphrodite, and then Venus. She is all over, and she's mentioned specifically there. Now, in the Canaanite mythology, she's actually the wife of Baal. So Baal has a wife. Okay, and so when Baal comes, the next one to come, it says in the Bible says Baal, then it says Ashtoreth. Then she's coming in. So what this means is once the door is open, she is the goddess of sexuality, of sexual immorality. She's the goddess. She's actually called a prostitute. She's the goddess who her temples were filled with sexuality. It was made it public. So if she returns, what would happen? If she comes out, it means that America is going to undergo a sexual revolution. That is the sign of the possession of Ishtar, or this goddess. And the thing is, so sex comes. What she did, what a prostitute is she actually damages marriage. She actually weakens marriage. That's what happens. Brings sexuality into the culture. In ancient times in Israel, in the Middle East, she put her images of naked people all over the cultures. And so not only she was in her Greek form, she gave birth to a child named Eros. We get the word erotica. So erotica starts flooding America. The word word for prostitute, which is what she was, in her Greek incarnation is the word porne. We get the word porn from it. So there's an explosion of pornography all over the culture. So what Baal does, in one sense, she's repaganized, she's overturning biblical standards of sexuality and marriage, and she is paganizing our culture through sexuality and through possessing it. And she's also the goddess of spells and witchcraft. So she casts her spell on America, and we are still in it to this day. And it goes further, Sid, because something strange about the goddess, and that has to do with gender. Because what she also did, let me tell you, in her ancient inscriptions, I'm looking at these ancient inscriptions, she says, I am a woman, I am a man. It says it's said in her hymns, it says she has the power to transform a man into a woman and a woman into a man. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen if she comes into the culture? You're going to start seeing what she's going to do is she's going to start masculinizing women, defeminizing women, and feminizing men. That touches everything. I mean, it touches our culture, touches the roles, touches radical feminism and sexuality. And so all this stuff that we're having, saying, how could this happen? This is all the goddess. This is all. It's all there. It even goes further. She had a priesthood. Her priests, listen to this, in her temples were men who dressed up as women. And they acted as women dressed up. So what's going to happen if she comes back? What's going to happen is, as she possesses a culture, is that men will start dressing. We'll start seeing that in our culture, which we do. These are her ancient priesthood. Also, they were involved in same-sex sexuality. We see that explosion as well. Also, it says, remember, she says she turns men into women, transitions them, and women into men. Many of her priests were actually surgically altered. And she especially, all the gods, but they go after the children, because if you have the children, you have the future. And so that happened in ancient times, happening now. And so you think, what would possess an adult to do this to children? Well, what would possess it? The spirit. Right? This is the spirit of the goddess. Yeah. And I'm going to go even farther, because this is mind-boggling. And that is that the goddess was in charge. She was a goddess of parades. She had parades happening all over. And when I looked at the ancient inscriptions of the parades, it describes them, and it says in the parades, the men would dress up as women in the parades. The women would dress as men. It would be a parade of gender bending, and that's exactly what, when you see this happening now, that's the sign of the goddess. And Sid, it's even like more mind-boggling, because I'm looking at this, and I look at the ancient observers, and they said, when did this thing happen? They said it happened, even St. Jerome, it happened in the month, they called it in Latin, Junium. June was the month of the goddess. She claimed a month, June, and she was the goddess of pride. So we have now a pride month. It's all come back. This is not through these things, through these festivals, she possesses a culture. And that's the sign that she has come back.
What's that Bible verse?
Water.
As it was in the days before the flood, so shall it be in end times. But a lot of people don't want to think this is the end times. But at the end of each civilization, these are the things that occurred. The heathenist ways were these ways. They just keep changing the name of it so that people will follow it. At first it was paganism, it was Hellenism, it was devil worshiping. It got a bunch of different names, and they try to make it seem like these are a bunch of different religions, and it's not. All of these people, heathenism, you know what I'm saying? All of these things are the same exact thing. These people are following Satan. Satan is the God that they choose. The heathen don't like the God of Israel. The heathen wants to do their own thing. And they feel like their own thing is opposite of ours. But my thing is that they don't even understand that because Azareth is supposed to be the queen of heaven. This understanding of this even comes from the Hebrews. So it's so much misinformation going on, and all of it is because of this deity. And because people are following this deity's instructions, because it's one of the fallen. That deity is literally Satan. But it got y'all thinking it's something else. It got y'all thinking it's a little red man with some horns and a tail, and the whole time it's this goddess that they pray to. But let's keep going.
Maritime Admiralty is banking law. And the law on the Maritime Admiralty says that you, because you came out of your mother's water, are a maritime admiralty product. This is why the ship is sitting in its berth and is tied to the dock, and the captain has to give a certificate of manifest to the port authorities because money is changing hands. This is why when you were born, you have to have a birth certificate. And it's got to be signed by the dock because that's where the ship is tied to, is the dock. So the dock signs your birth certificate. Why? Because you came down out of your mother's water. You came down her birth canal. You are a maritime admiralty product, and therefore your birth certificate is signed by your mother. And where your mother signed on the birth certificate, get it, you will see it does not say parent or mother, it says informant. Your mother was informing the bank that she has just produced another product to be bought and sold. England, the British Crown, through international banking, owns your physical body, and that's the law. So you can think it's funny all you want. So the bottom line is that you are a maritime admiralty product, and on the back of the Social Security card will be numbers in red. On the front will be in blue or black, but on the back will be in red. The numbers on the back of a Social Security card in red designate your body. It is the serial number of your stock. And this is why if you're wealthy, you are preferred stock. If you're poor, you are common stock. But you are a stock on the stock market. Your body is bought and sold through the use of your birth certificate. And if you could get your original birth certificate back, you would find that on the back of the birth certificate are all the banks around the world. All over the world, banks have used your birth certificate because you are a stock in a maritime admiralty banking scheme where you make money for banks. So consequently, the corporation and government and people who want to control you, they create a second you, and that second you that they control, that they created, is all capital letters. Check it out. Anytime you get a bill, get a lawsuit, you get a fine, a ticket, somebody sends you a bill from the Department of Water and Power, check it out on your driver's license, on your Social Security card, on your insurance cards, anything having to do with business, your name will always be in all capital letters.
And another thing to add on into that, when you get your birth certificates, like, you know what I'm saying, in order to authenticate your birth certificate, you know what I'm saying, I like to make people get a copy of their birth certificate so that it's fresh. It's a fresh copy when they, you know what I'm saying, do the authentication process, just so it's more professional. You know what I'm saying? It's not your old birth certificate that you had for hella years. You know what I'm saying? It's a nice crispy one, right? So, you know what I'm saying, when I was doing mine, or when I do anybody's that I've helped do it, right? Down in the bottom right-hand corner, I believe, it's going to have this long number, right? And I found out that that's how many copies of your birth certificate have been made. Now, when I authenticated my birth certificate, this was the first time I had ever ordered, you know what I'm saying, copies of mine. And I had ordered 2 copies. So I would think that, you know what I'm saying, my mama probably had got a copy before or something like that. I'm probably thinking, there's no more than like 5 of my birth certificates that's out here. Do you know it said that I had, it's been over 1,200,000 and something thousand copies of my birth certificate that's been created? Like, think about that. And everybody that I've helped done this process with, it says like almost like the same amount. You know what I'm saying? Like it's millions. Now, I'm only 35. And again, when I went through this process was the only time I made a copy of my birth certificate. So who in the hell been making copies of my birth certificate? And where have they been going? Who has been utilizing it? I have over 1 million copies of my birth certificate that has been made. For what? And when you start learning and stuff, you like, they just going in a trust that was created in my name, If it's 1 million copies of my birth certificate out there, how much money is in this said trust? Things to think about, right?
Which does Greece owe, Roger? $367 billion. Correct. And who do they owe it to?
Mostly to the other European economies.
Correct. How much does Ireland owe?
$865 billion.
Correct. And who do they owe it to?
Other European economies, mostly.
Correct. How much do Spain and Italy owe?
$1 trillion each.
Correct. Who to?
Mainly France, Britain and Germany.
Correct. And how are Germany, France and Britain going, Roger?
Well, they're struggling a bit, aren't they?
Correct. Why?
Because they've lent all these vast amounts of money to other European economies that can't possibly pay them back.
Correct. So what are they going to do?
They're going to have to bail them out.
Correct. Where are they getting the money to do that, Roger?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one.
How much does Portugal owe?
Hang on a minute. What was the answer to that earlier question?
Just keep answering the questions, Roger. Where is Portugal going to get the money it owes to Germany if Germany can't get back the money that it lent to Italy?
Just a minute. What was the answer to the previous question? The question was, how can broke economies lend money to other broke economies who haven't got any money because they can't pay back the money the broke economy lent to the other broke economy and shouldn't have lent it to them in the first place because the broke economy can't pay it back?
You're wasting very valuable time, Roger. How much money does Spain owe to Italy?
$41 billion, but where are they going to get it?
Right.
Correct. What does Italy owe to Spain?
$27 billion, but they haven't got it. They're broke.
Correct.
The money. How about the $20 you owe me?
Oh, yeah? Well, I only got 10, so here's 10 and I owe you 10.
Thanks.
Hey, Mo, you owe me 20.
Well, here's 10 and I'll owe you 10.
You owe me 20.
Here's 10, I owe you 10.
Here's the 10 I owe you.
Here's the 10 I owe you.
Here's the 10 I owe you. Good. Now we're all even.
Now, if that's truly how things are being ran, and it looks like it is, this isn't sustainable. I need y'all to understand something. That in a nutshell is what's happening here. Not just here in the United States, I mean just happening on this planet, you feel me? Because you throw the United States in the mix of that too, it gets even more chaotic and crazy. And don't add up. There's no way this is going to keep going. It's going to burst at some point. Something is going to happen because it's just not sustainable. This was a facade. It was a imagination land. And that's what the truth of the matter is. We've been duped. The biggest heist ever in history has occurred on our watch, and we're the victims. Our time has been traded away for monopoly money. And what's going to happen when the majority of us accept that and realize that's what's going on? That burst that I'm talking about is going to happen because, again, this is sustainable. So why should any of us keep working? You know what I'm saying? Why should any of us keep working for other people, let me say, instead of taking a risk and starting our own companies? Getting land and tilted in ourselves. Making our own ways. You know what I'm saying? Why would we keep getting poisoned by these folks? Because the main factor that's facilitating all of this stuff to happen is money. But then when we find out that this money is useless, that this money is you can't even wipe your ass with this money without getting a paper cut. So what use does it have if it's not backed by gold? And if this money has now been being backed by our bodies, what about when we take ourselves off the market and be like, man, that money ain't me? Because that's what authenticating your birth certificate is. You're not playing the game anymore. And when enough people don't play the game anymore, the game is going to crash. I really need y'all to understand that, and that this is what's happening. But let's get back into this.
Anything having to do with business, your name will always be in all capital letters.
Yes.
Because only all capital letters can be dealt with by banks and government. Anytime you have a name upper or lowercase, that applies to you. I got no control over you. You sign a contract in which your name is in all capital letters, now I can take you to court. Now I can take you. As a matter of fact, the judge sits on the bench. He rules from the bench. The word bench in Latin is a bank. Look it up in a Latin dictionary. So the judge rules from the bench. Right, because he's ruling for the bank. Why? Because somebody's going to pay. It's just a game here. The Queen of England wants a cut of the American blood. She wants a piece. So it's going, somebody's going to pay, and the money's going to go where? Into a bank. That's right. The judge rules for the bank. So consequently, if you are working in California making money, you are then referred to as a franchisee. You're a franchisee of a foreign corporation. 1849 Constitution of California says, no California citizen will ever pay taxes in California state. Ever. There will never be a state tax in California. Ever.
Let me know that down in the comment section.
California. But if you say that you're a United States citizen, you're saying you work for a privately owned corporation called United States. Therefore, you are a franchisee of a foreign corporation. Therefore, you must pay the California Franchise Tax Board. Not California State Tax Board. There is no state tax.
And this is how they get us. They play this game, this terminology game. They just switch words. They switch the meaning. They switch the terminology. Oh no, it's not. This ain't a state tax. Here in this state, we got a thing called franchisees because we're not really from here. This is a false government. Y'all think this is the government of the United States, but this is actually a company for Britain. Unum sanctum, that's what this is called. Well, in layman's terms, the United States Corporation. This isn't the United States of America. It hasn't been for a long time. Our elected officials don't do anything. This place is in a constant state of emergency. And when the United States is in a state of emergency, all the power is then transferred over to who we think is the president of the United States, but it's not even given to the president. It's given to the mayor of the District of Columbia in Washington. That's Washington, D.C. The D.C. is the District of Columbia. So whoever is the mayor and also the governor, because the person who is the mayor is also the governor of Washington, D.C., they're the ones who run all the municipal townships throughout the United States because of a state of emergency. That person and a 13-member board make the decisions truly. And now this president and these the Senate and the House of Representatives and the judicial branch is all a facade. These are paid actors. Literally look up the definition of a political actor and start seeing what's really going on. Those people have not done anything, made any law since damn near since 1873. We got to do our research to understand what's happening.
California. You pay the California Franchise Tax Board because you're a franchisee of a foreign corporation under maritime banking law, international law. You work for the Queen of England. Your butt is owned by the Queen of England and a corporation called United States, while a man called Bush is the president of the British corporation. You need to wake up and find out how this stuff really works. Because once you understand that you don't need to submit yourself as an American to a British commercial venture called courts. You're an American. You don't need to go to court. You only go to court because you agreed to go to court. When they send you a subpoena to court or summons to court, or they've sent you something, you look at it and say, hey, Jack, that's not me. That's in all capital letters. All capital letters is a corporation. It's a corpse. It's dead. Do I look like I'm dead to you? Exactly. No, I'm an American, Jack. I ain't dead. And besides, I'll go to an American system for justice. I don't need no British Grand Lodge Masonic system called courts. This British Grand Lodge Freemasonic system called Inns of Court comes out of England. And it has manipulated, exploited, and lied to the people. And everybody in America thinks they got to go to court.
Yeah.
Oh, the judge
But this is a foreign entity on this land.
I don't go to anybody's court. I'm an American. I don't need to go to court. That's the difference between being a free man and a slave.
Yeah. It's a big difference. And a lot of people here are enslaved. Now, this video is a very tragic video, but what makes it even more disturbing is that you guys seen how it's no volume on it. When I downloaded that video, it did have value, but for some reason now it doesn't. Tell me how that's possible. And I know a lot of people gonna be like, the file probably got corrupted, and this has never happened to any other video on that I've ever downloaded on this phone. You know what I'm saying? It's never happened before it, never happened after it. So you guys tell me that's a little fishy, because these kids went through a lot of ritualistic abuse, a lot of occult activities, and they spilled the beans on it. Told on their parents who were involved, told on the community that was involved, and not only, you know what I'm saying, doing things to them, but also doing things to other children and eating said children. Lord have mercy. And now that video, it seems like it's just getting scrubbed from everywhere, and I tried to bring it to you all, but for some reason the volume's gone. So I've asked you guys to look it up. If you on TikTok, if you have a weak stomach, I've asked you not to look it up. But if you guys want to know what the occult cults are doing, you know what I'm saying, to these children, it's not a laughing matter. It's very sick, and I pray for those children, because they went through a lot. They went through a lot, to the point where they couldn't hold it in. They had to tell, and thank God they ran into some people that at least got it on film. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where these kids are now. You know, you guys let me know down in the comment section if you know. But that's gonna do it for this video. Again, this is a new series that I'm trying out. I really hope you guys take in this information and don't take it lightly. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes down to the birth certificate information. That is one of the heaviest things that is on this earth right now. And if you guys don't understand that, you will keep being manipulated. It's the foundation to a lot of the manipulation that's going on here. So I hope you guys kept an open ear and an open mind to everything that you heard here today. If you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are subbing up and joining the kingdom. And again, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section about these videos. You know what I'm saying? I am an open book. We can have conversations and discourse, you know what I'm saying, as long as it stays respectful. You know what I'm saying? I have no problem, you know what I'm saying, talking these things out. You know what I'm saying? But with that being said, that's going to do it for me. King Marcel out. Peace.
Always alive, looking for the prize. That's eternal life. And bringing the chains of my mind.